guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Ezra if you're new here, and today we're going to continue the book summary series, and we are now on Exodus. So without further ado, the book of Exodus is the second book of the Bible and the Old Testament. It continues the narrative from Genesis and tells the story of the Israelites' enslavement in Egypt, their liberation by God through Moses, the giving of the law at Mount Sinai, and the construction of the tabernacle. So there's a lot going on within this book, this account. The biggest part is the deliverance. So God's power and willingness to deliver his people from bondage. And then the second part of it would be the covenant, the establishment of the Mosaic covenant between God and Israel. And then the law, the giving of the Ten Commandments, the Mosaic law, and other laws. And then it would be the presence of God, the building of the tabernacle as the dwelling place for God among his people. So there's a lot to talk about within this book, but this is some of the key verses, we'll say. The oppression of Israel in Egypt is Exodus 1 and 2. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were in dread of the children of Israel. That's Exodus 1 and 2. Then the call of Moses in Exodus 3 and 4. And then Exodus 3:14. And God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. Now in Hebrew, this is Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. I am who I am. Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. And then we go into the plagues. Exodus 5:12. 12:13 in particular says, now the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And the plague shall not be on you to destroy you. When I strike the land of Egypt. In other words, if you put the blood on your door, he won't strike you. The angel of death, some people say. With that being said, that was Yahweh. And then the Red Sea crossing in Exodus 13-15. So Exodus 14:21. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. That's unbelievable. Like, it was just so, imagine being there. But in that instance, it was Yahweh, same God, different names. The journey to Sinai then, Exodus 16:18. In 16 verse 4, then the Lord said to Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain quota every day, that I may test them, whether they will walk in my law or not. And in this instance, again, it was Yahweh who was speaking. Same God, different names. The giving of the law in Exodus 19-24, but Exodus 20:1-3. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. And the Hebrew name in this instance was Elohim, Yahweh Elohecha. No other gods before me. And then we got the instructions to build the tabernacle. Tabernacle is a tent. It's a bit more than a tent, a very elaborate tent. In Exodus 25 to 31, Exodus 25:8, and let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. Again, in this instance, it was Yahweh. And then we go into the golden calf and the restoration in Exodus 32 and 34. But Exodus 34, 6 and 7. And the Lord passed before him and proclaimed, the Lord God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering and abounding in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and the children's children to the third and fourth generation. And in this instance, it was Yahweh and El, which is, same God, different names. Then there was the construction of the tabernacle in Exodus 35 and 40. So Exodus 40, verse 34 and 35 says, then the cloud covered the tabernacle of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle, and Moses was not able to enter the tabernacle of meeting because the cloud rested above it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Now the Hebrew name in this instance was Yahweh. So let's bring that about now. So the book of Exodus is a foundational text for understanding God's relationship with Israel, the importance of obedience to God's laws, and the concept of God's dwelling among his people. Through Exodus, we see God's faithfulness and power and holiness, which set the stage for the rest of the biblical narrative. Okay, so that was a summary of Exodus. I'd encourage you to do a deeper study into this. Read it. It's his word to you and I. But until next time, guys, keep it biblical. Love you. God bless.